And in more stories, the National Senior Citizens Center, NSCC, has engaged relevant stakeholders to shed light on the importance of elder justice and increase awareness about supporting older persons. The stakeholders' engagement held in Abuja is aimed at addressing the rising cases of abuse and violence faced by elderly population. The Director General, National Senior Citizens Center, Omokaro, called for a collaborative action or approach for elder justice as she emphasized the need to report instances of abuse and violence against older persons. Akogun Zainab has more.
According to the Legal Council, over 1,973 cases have been recorded on the abuse of elderly people, mostly women. This highlights the injustice carried out on the elderly persons. Speaking at the conference, the Director General, NSCC, Omokaro, stated the injustice and accusations carried out against the elderly. She added that it needs to be addressed as the elderly also deserve justice.
Elder justice is simply collective action by partners and stakeholders to put in the enabling structures, the procedures, the processes that will help to facilitate understanding of the issue, promotion of structures that will enable older people and ease vulnerability, and also, of course, to also put in place everything that is necessary, whether it be prevention first, after the understanding, prevention, intervention, treatment, and then where investigation, and where it is necessary, prosecution. So we are bringing all the stakeholders together to fight for elder justice. And we are now mobilizing network support. Network support. Today you saw us launching the club on elder justice.
The Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, represented by Fidelia Oro, in his speech said different mechanisms such as policies, laws and evidence will be included to get justice for the elderly.
Older persons experience abuses ranging from verbal abuse, physical, financial, emotional, neglect and abandonment, to mention but a few, which often results to death. The most painful part is the part that most of these cases are usually underreported or even not being reported at all, and this creates room for perpetrators to go unpunished. In order to bring to the front burner issues of gender-based violence, particularly as it affects older women, and the need to address it using different mechanisms such as policies, laws, and evidence-based response.
In his remark, the country representative, United Nations Population Funds, said that abuse on older persons needs to be tackled.
To understand the core causes and repercussions of elder abuse, we must produce data, undertake research and share knowledge. This will allow us to create targeted treatments and support systems to empower and enhance the well-being of the older people. Today, as we stand united in partnership against elder abuse and violence, let us commit to collaborate across all sectors to achieve a world free of age-based discrimination and violence. Let us advocate for older people's rights, amplify their voices, and empower them to enjoy lives of dignity, security, and fulfillment.
Other stakeholders also said older persons need justice and called for support and the input of laws on how to treat the elderly.
Whatever laws that are made on behalf of the elderly is welcomed by the church. I think the laws are to help the elderly. And I would like to say or request, please, when making those laws, let there be specifics, like how do we treat the elderly in prisons. If you go to our prisons, there are elderly people there. I've read researches on the elderly in the prisons and found out that in Nigeria, there's no special law how to take care of them in the prisons. And also, what are the physically challenged elderly people? What laws guide them? Because if you talk of elderly in general, you have to really be specific about the laws we make.
In our approach to solving legal problems for the elderly, my department, which is the statistics department, has found out that we have dealt with about 1,973 cases involving the elderly, those above 60 and above years old, and we're still counting. Some are not reported to us, some have been treated by some organizations. That is why this meeting is good, to harmonize and network together to have a database and get evidence-based responses to elder abuse in the country.
The awareness is targeted at creating more awareness on how the elderly should be treated by showing support in any way.